It is one of our region's longest-running and best-known mysteries, the disappearance of former Centre County District Attorney Ray Gricar. Now, nearly a decade later, the debate over what happened to Gricar continues with questions and not many answers. With this special report on the Gricar mystery, Gary Sinderson is in the Centre County newsroom. Gary?
Marty, when we first contacted people about this story, one of the first comments we usually heard was, wow, has it been nearly a decade since Ray went missing? It will be full 10 years in about a month and a half, April this year. The next comment was, is there anything new in the case? So we sat down with some people who have been very close to the Ray Gricar mystery since day one.
Almost a decade later, many here still remember when they first heard.
I got a call. I was actually up in State College at a breakfast and got a call that morning.
And Sheriff Denny now came in and handed me a note that said Ray Gricar is missing. And I looked up at him and he said, I'm not kidding.
And so it began, April 15th, 2005.
I thought something bad happened to him because Ray was a very, if you will, quote, predictable individual.
Longtime Centre County District Attorney Ray Gricar.
Gricar was an exceptional prosecutor. I spent 35 years in government and worked around hundreds of attorneys, and he was the best trial attorney I ever worked around.
Becomes a missing person and eventually a worldwide mystery case.
Anyone involved in this case has a theory. My secretary has a theory. I'm sure you have a theory. 3
theories emerged. Gricar was murdered, walked away and disappeared, or committed suicide.
I think he was killed. Why? Because 2 days before, he disappeared on a Friday, if you recall. 2 days before his preliminary hearing day, and I was in his office. Ray was very conservative, and he didn't wear his feelings on his chest. But he was in an unusually good mood.
I don't believe he was murdered. I believe that he may still be alive.
The investigation quickly shifted 55 miles away from Gricar's home in Bellefonte. His car found in this Lewisburg parking lot. Witnesses report seeing him shopping nearby. Inside his car, cigarette ashes. Gricar didn't smoke. And bloodhounds lost his scent from the car.
You lose his scent outside his car. I have yet to have somebody come forward and say to me, yes, bloodhounds can be mistaken, and, well then, if the scent ends outside his car, obviously you have another vehicle involved in all this, which means there is somebody out there that knows something.
The suicide theory quickly emerged that Gricar had tired in days before his disappearance, possibly battling depression. He simply went to a bridge over the Susquehanna River and jumped.
This is one of the bridges over the Susquehanna River here in Lewisburg. 2 things about the river back in 2005. We'd had a drought that spring. The water level in the river was fairly low. And 2, it was fishing season. There was a fair amount of people out along the river.
Or was Gricar murdered?
I'm a realist. Do I think that the district attorney of Centre County on April 15th, on that sunny day, do I think that his victimology was high? No, I don't.
To me, it was just unusual that somebody is going to try to take him in the location they did. If they knew anything about him, if he was traveling that road, they could have stopped him anywhere along that road, threw him in the car, and taken off.
Gricar was planning on retirement. It was his last term in office.
One of the things he said that struck me was the fact that he said he was tired of being criticized for either prosecuting or not prosecuting for political reasons.
Was that a reference to what we would find out years later? That Gricar in 1998 reviewed a case involving Jerry Sandusky and a young boy. No charges were filed. As for the police investigation, multiple agencies getting involved with multiple ideas.
From floating a cadaver into the river, see what would end up. We didn't do that, but it was brought out that that could be a possibility. We looked at the possibility of having weather satellite photos of that area, and that didn't come out.
Just a couple years ago, a farmer outside of Lewisburg called police, saying he saw 2 cars and heard gunshots.
One had Ray in it, and then he said that he heard gunshots. When he took us out to where he said he heard the gunshots, he was trying to guesstimate as to how far away these gunshots were. So we, and it ended up that the guy was very, his credibility was an issue. And he tried to tie it all into the Sandusky and into the government, and there was conspiracy theories, and it was basically a waste of a day.
Did Gricar leave clues behind On his desk, this book was found, The County Code, Policies for Elected Officials, open to the page on how to fill a vacancy in the DA's office. That led some to believe Gricar planned his departure. If it wasn't suicide, maybe he went into a witness protection program.
I've heard of witness protection. You would think that if he was under witness protection, there would have been some big case that everyone would have known about. There's no indication that he was put under witness protection.
You think that we don't have any answers, and then of course when you don't have answers, the conspiracy theories jump up.
And the bottom line for the Ray Gricar case?
We don't really know what happened to Ray, so we would sit and follow a lead that someone had killed him, or we would follow a lead that he ran off, or we would follow the lead that he committed suicide. Law enforcement really does not know what happened to Ray Gricar.
To this day, only a small amount of physical evidence has been found.
We still haven't recovered his body. And until we do that, I hold out hope that he is still with us.
And so the mystery continues.
Ray Gricar was declared legally dead back in July of 2011 by a court order. You saw Bellefonte Police Chief Sean Weaver there. For years, his department headed up the Gricar investigation. It was a year ago, February 2014, when the state police took over the investigation. And police tell us, after years of getting calls from across the world about possible Gricar sightings and clues in the case, those calls have fallen off drastically in the past year. And keep in mind, this is still a missing persons case, not a criminal investigation. But early on, even from the start, there were questions about, was the investigation mishandled, that there were some missteps in those early hours when Ray Gricar went missing in 2005. We'll have more on that angle coming up tonight here at 11 on 6 News. We're live in Center County. Gary Sinderson, 6 News.